Grab that rat-a-tat-tat.
Welcome to Shelf Indulgence, where stories come alive in conversation. I'm Remy, your host and first-time reader, turning the pages alongside each guest as they revisit a book that has left its mark on them. Together, we linger over passages, chase down themes, and wander through the margins of a story worth revisiting. Whether you're turning the pages for the first time with me or revisiting a favorite alongside my guest, I'm glad you've joined us on this journey. Hello and welcome back to Shelf Indulgence. We're here again with Michael, diving directly into the first third of The Stranded. That covers chapters 53 through 63, and boy, what a kickoff. This conversation again went a bit longer than expected, so rather than a 2-hour episode, I cut it into 2 1-hour for a much more consumable bite. With all that out of the way, let's get to it. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Shelf Indulgence. This is part 5, The Stranded. Let's look at who's actually stranded so far in this part. We've got Jules stranded in the other silo.
Yep.
We've got Mechanical stranded down below. We've got Lucas stranded in his little hidey hole. And we've got the Diggers stranded down below water. Am I missing anything?
Well, yeah, I guess the Diggers are stranded. We don't really know. Like they're hidden behind a wall, I guess, at this point. But
yeah, that's true.
You can say that the pumps are stranded below water. I think that's probably what you were trying to go for.
No, the Diggers are there too. But I mean, it's ultimately the goal is to get the Diggers out.
Yeah.
By draining it. But there's a lot of stranded. Very appropriate title.
Do we know she's going for the Diggers, though? Like, I wasn't convinced on that. When I was reading through it, I wasn't quite sure what her goal was of draining it. I mean, getting to the Diggers would make sense.
Yeah, her purpose of draining it was to go down, and obviously we're jumping ahead and we'll readdress this, but the purpose was that she knows the Diggers are down there and it's flooded. Mm-hmm. She was talking about how she could get them out and they would likely work. But the problem is that they only have 2 people, so they need to make sure it's dried off and cleaned and yada, yada, et cetera, so that it doesn't rust immediately.
Yeah.
And with 2 people, that's a problem. So currently she's looking to fix the pumps to drain it. Ultimately, I believe the goal is to get the Diggers to dig back home, I presume. But yeah.
I guess we'll have to see.
Yes, we will indeed. But jumping right into chapter 53, we're starting in silo 18. We find out right away, that was a weird way to say it. We find out right away that Marc is still alive.
Mm-hmm.
He is bloodied. He is battered. He is not doing well. He can't hear. It's he's going down the stairs, running away from Sims, which we found out him and his crew were chasing at the end of the last section, I think, one of the many battle sections. Mm-hmm. And he is just trying to get away, scaring the crap out of people as he passes them, all bloodied and everything. Yeah. It says horrified cries from the curious crowds on every landing. Like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, horrified cries, I think, just in general, too. Like fucking war just broke out and people are terrified about what's going on.
Yeah. And so he's talking about the bomb that had gone off that caused the hearing loss. Mm-hmm. I thought it was an interesting thing to say is that he specifically says their enemy's den, and we're jumping into politics right out the gate. But the moment opposing sides start referring to the other as enemies, that's always going to lead to some sort of war, some sort of civil war, some sort of... And we're seeing that in our current political climate as well. The moment that term is thrown around, it becomes an us versus them. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what's happening here. And it is the lower class versus the upper class.
Yeah, there's actually a line later on, I forget exactly where, that I highlighted that really highlighted that class system. Oh, I think it was when we're not wanted here. You know, when the supply. Shirley and Marc are talking, about supply not wanting them there. And I'm like, oh, wow. Like, I forget exactly what the wording was. I'll come across it when we get to it. But like, oh, no, I just got to it. Beginning of the very next chapter, wounded and yellow coveralls are taken inside, but it suggested, and not gently, that Mechanical's injured. We'd be better off receiving treatment further below, where they belong.
Uh-huh.
Ah, man.
Yep.
But yeah, the class system obviously is a big part of this structure, and as we've talked about before, very much a top to bottom. There's another line later on about when Lucas is talking to Lucas is talking to Billings about where he lives, and he's like practically in the up top, and Billings has this snide comment about like how
dude,
everybody in the mids,
asshole.
right? So I gotta say, I forgot what Billings was as a character in the book, and I honestly don't remember where he goes as a character, so I can't possibly give you spoilers.
Okay.
But I liked him in the show, so I assumed that he must have been redeemed or redeemable at least in the book, and now I can't remember. Like I don't remember if like he comes around as like a hero or like on the right side, or if he ends up just being like Bernard's little bitch.
Yeah, because you had asked me when we first met him what I thought of him, and I thought he was a kind of a redeemable character. Like he was more ignorant than he was anything else. This section so far, I'm not impressed. Like I don't. He's pushing toward that irredeemable.
I think they did a lot of character combinations from the book to the show. Like I was actually thinking as we started this chapter with Marc stumbling down the Great Stairway, I realized I think they may have merged Knox and Marc's character in the show.
What?
Yeah, so like I think that explains why like in the show Knox is a lot younger and not the big guy that they depict him as in this, because he's kind of like taking on two different characters.
Oh, I hope not, because I like them as individual characters.
Yeah, but you can't fit all the characters from a book in a show. You know, you only have so much screen time.
Like hell you can't. Those are two very small side characters. You could have totally fit both of them.
I don't know. I mean, when you're trying to have an audience be able to follow a whole bunch of characters in a show, I think it's a lot easier to merge characters. And you see that all the time in adaptations.
Yeah, but then you have more characters to murder.
Fair. Fair.
Which obviously Howey's a big fan of. Speaking of character deaths, we get final confirmation that McLean we knew McLean was likely dead.
But Knox is definitely dead.
Yeah, exactly. Confirmation that Knox is dead. As Marc is fleeing, he's thinking about this. My good friend Knox is dead. Mm-hmm. Then, of course, his priority becomes, and as it should, finding Shirley. Because they left her on 56 to help the farmers get the power taken care of. Yeah. Actually, on this page, the page that follows the chapter opening, it actually confirms something we talked about a while back. We were wondering what the actual structure of the silo was. And we assumed that there was kind of a middle structure with circling stairs up the middle. And that's actually confirmed in this chapter.
Oh, okay.
So he's running down, and Marc stayed away from the outer railing. And there's another confirmation. Oh, yeah. When the person that is injured with the leg of the chair blows the stairway up.
I was actually having a hard time understanding what happened there. Like, why was he impaled with the leg of a chair? Was like the leg of a chair
blew up, and that's what flew.
Oh God, that makes sense.
Yeah,
like so this is somebody who was up top and went down the stairs with a fucking leg of the chair in their belly,
exactly,
and then died at a lower level. I was imagining it was somebody who like got injured there. And I'm like, how did they get a leg of the chair embedded into their body?
What a random injury.
Yeah, I was like, was it like, because I kept going like, okay, well, maybe it was the rifles. Maybe they used like chair legs to make the barrels or something like that. Or like,
could be.
Like
could
somebody
be.
like broke it off and jammed. I could not for the life of me figure out how he got a chair leg in his body and was dying.
My assumption is shrapnel.
Yeah, that makes so much more sense. So much more sense. I feel like an idiot now. Not really, but like
no, you're good, dude. So he's talking about taking pot shots at the pursuers. And I really appreciated the way that they explained the difference between the guns, the quality of the guns. He says that they're using modern things that he had never heard of. And his gun goes pop, 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 and theirs goes rat-a-tat-tat. I don't know if it's in this chapter, but I thought it was just such a good explanation of, that's perfect. That we know exactly what kind of guns they're using. Obviously, the pop, pop, pop is a very manual reload. Pop, pop, pop. Whereas a rat-a-tat-tat, that's a machine gun. That is a fully automatic or semi-automatic weapon.
I was going to say even a semi-automatic, like an AK something or whatever. I was thinking about when I was reading this, what we talked about how they knew how to make guns, and I realized, they've probably been making bullets for the sheriffs and stuff like that. I mean, I doubt they use them all that often, so they probably don't have to do it frequently.
Do you think they ever use them?
I don't know. probably like once in a blue moon, maybe like to kill a pig or something like that. I don't know.
Oh, sure. Okay. That's actually a good thought. Yeah.
Like, I don't know what they do for that, but
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, well, but what would actually necessitate the firing of a gun in the silo?
Yeah.
It doesn't seem, because there are no other guns. I mean, in the public, there are no other guns.
Other than what the deputies have, yeah.
And the only time these guns from IT are used is in the case of insurrection or uprisings.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I mean, as a police officer, you might just need to use your gun as a threatening device when somebody's like holding a knife to someone, or like, you know, in the middle of doing something really terrible, and you need to be able to do that. And I wouldn't be surprised if every once in a blue moon they do need to use it to subdue somebody who is going to cause damage to other people. But I doubt they'd use it as like a punishment, like to you know, put somebody to death because they have going outside for that.
Well, yeah, the cleaning is the entire structure of the silo is built around that. It's just, yeah, I had that same curiosity. I'm like, how they figured out how to make guns. I mean, I guess it's not, but what did they use for gunpowder? I know we're jumping back to last section. So many questions.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know that gunpowder. I don't know how gunpowder's made. I don't know what it's made from. I don't know how you go about it. So I couldn't really answer that question. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if like the amount of gunpowder they have is finite and just they don't use it very much. So they've got a lot of it. Or there's probably some other combustible thing maybe that they use in that environment. I don't know. But regardless, they've obviously got enough bullets to be completely destroying each other.
Yeah, hey, unfortunately. I also wanted to point out on this page, it's a 369 for me. You know, you've got Marc running away, you've got Sim's group pursuing, you've got people running down the stairs like in a panic, which obviously your footfalls are going to be a lot heavier. I wonder if there's a weight limit on these stairs. Like, you know, I've thought about that too. If you got the whole silo going up and down these stairs, is that a problem?
Yeah, I've thought about that too. Like, these stairs must be really fucking robust because for hundreds of years, people have been going up and down them, and like lots of people all at once. Like we know about like Silo 17 with the flood of people trying to get outside. I wouldn't be surprised at all if like everybody was on the stairs at once.
Yeah, exactly. And I imagine it's somebody's job to maintain that.
Maybe. Yeah.
I mean, they've got mechanical that's down maintaining machines and things like that. There's got to be a general maintenance that just walks up and down and fixes the stairs.
Maybe. I imagine stairs don't generally need to be fixed very often, especially when the weather isn't destroying them. I mean, we know that like the metal's all worn down because of constant footfalls, but unless like the metal starts getting too slippery and they might have to like send somebody up to retexturize it or something like that, or I don't know. That's really interesting.
That's interesting. It's just a thought that came to mind with all the footfalls and the thundering of the boots. Yeah, it occurred to me like, I wonder how sturdy those are.
We know from later that a bomb can completely destroy them.
Yeah, and that's kind of fed into my whole curiosity. It's like how sturdy are these things? But then again, Sims and his crew got through. Like, it didn't destroy enough of it to make that much of a difference.
I mean, yeah, we don't know exactly how they got through, but they may have like rappelled down to the next level or something.
Yeah, so now they're stuck down there. Yeah, so Marc is running away. His thoughts are down is the only direction. And to speak to the people that kind of rejected them, which we are coming up on, I don't know that I would want to stay in supply. They don't seem very well secured.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Like, obviously they were part of this battle. I wouldn't want to be there. I would want to go further down myself. I wouldn't want to stay regardless of being invited.
Yeah, I mean, with how Shirley described what people were feeling, I kind of imagined that I'd feel the same way, that I'd want to be with my own people. But part of me also thinks that, like, wouldn't supply be on their side even though people died? Or at least some of them, right? Like, some of them should be in that, like, we need to get answers and fix things.
Yeah, and Supply didn't want to be part of this until Knox talked him into it. Well, talked McLean into it. So,
well, no, Knox didn't talk McLean into it. McLean was still hesitant. Knox talked her people into it, all of which are probably dead now. So
yeah, so a rousing speech and then a lot of blood. Yeah, people might change their minds.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just awful. But this is where the chair leg injury is. You've got two people carrying this person, and then they sit him down on the stairs, and Marc goes to assist, and they ward him off, but because he can't hear. Mm-hmm. they're telling him, no, like, go the fuck away. And they hand this person a bomb, and then they run away. Clever, tragic, horrible, awful, hate it, but also, I mean, what else are you going to do? Mm-hmm. War sucks. And Jesus Christ, I can't even imagine the kind of headspace that person's got to be in to accept that as the only way. I mean, woof.
I mean, I would kind of imagine that when you're in that much pain, you know you're dying, and you believe in the cause, that it would be kind of this, like, you know, you're crying, you're like, you're in this crazy place in your head, and it's just like, all right, fine, I'm doing this, like a resigned sort of thing.
Yeah, what other choices are there, really? Mm-hmm. Ugh, just terrible. But on the next page, there's a line there that I wanted to read. He's talking about Marc glanced up the stairwell where the boots were finally gaining on them. Coming into view, black and bloodless, this tireless and superior enemy. I just thought that was really impactful.
Yeah.
It very much evokes like stormtroopers, not Star Wars stormtroopers, but the black and bloodless, just a very uniform, scary enemy. Mm-hmm. Very well written and a really visceral imagery.
Yeah.
And then the explosion. And moving on to the next chapter. God, that was a rough chapter, just right out the gate, dealing with the immediate aftermath of, because we got the aftermath in IT, but we didn't get the aftermath of the people fleeing. We didn't know who was alive, who wasn't, how many people. I mean, it sounds like there were a lot more than I expected, but it doesn't sound like anywhere near as many as went up, sadly, especially Knox and McLean being amongst those. Mm-hmm. But yeah, moving on to chapter 54. We're still with Marc. He's still looking for Shirley. He gets to Supply, right?
Yeah, this is when he got to Supply, and what I said about the, where they belonged.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the page, right? Yeah, messed up. Marc's hearing is starting to improve. He's wondering what the damage of the stairwell might have been. He's been told that Shirley went down with other people, but apparently that was wrong. She shows up and she's starting to kind of unravel, understandably. It's on the next page. I thought you were gone, she said. He had to read her lips to make it out. I thought that you were ... She bit her lip and stared at him with an uncharacteristic fear. Marc had never seen his wife phased.
Yeah, I thought that was really fascinating about like how she's this rock hard woman who has handled so much. Like the quote continues to talk about how like when her friends were trapped in a cave in the mine, when Juliette was sent to cleaning, she never looked that scared, but now she does. It really kind of sets the mood for how big of a deal this is and how scary. Like this feels like the beginning of the end.
Right. And when your rock is shaken, that brings a reality that you can easily ignore when there's somebody else stronger around you, than stronger in the fortitude as like this, like not being phased. Yeah. The people that can hold their ground in spite of whatever's going on around them. And then you see that person shaken. It's terrifying. I've been in situations where my rock has been shaken. It is the most unpleasant thing on the planet. I gotta say it's up there at least. Yeah. But now that he's found her, his thing, there's little anyone could do to me now, which I love, because I love their relationship, and it's, obviously there are spoilers coming, but sadly Marc is not long for this world. And once again, Howey knows how to build a relationship and how to build a character that you love and then tear it away from you.
I should have known, right? Like I should have known when he is building up how much these two care about each other, how much they love each other, how important it is that they found each other after all of this, shit hitting the fan. I should have known that meant one of them was about to die.
Absolutely. Yeah. We've gotten to a point where we should get used to Howey doing this to us. Oh, man. So they make it down to the 139th floor, which is where Mechanical built their wall. So Mechanical built a big steel wall with a tiny little rectangle. Thank God Knox didn't need to come back.
I didn't think about that specifically, but I did think about, like, how do the big people get through? Because I myself am a big guy. And I was like, well, that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah,
like, if you've got to, like, squeeze through and you're a normal sized person, like, what are us fatties going to do? We just going to die? Apparently.
Yeah. And on this page, he's also talking about, how he's glad to be back in mechanical because all the things that they would have, power, safety in numbers, home field advantage, yada, yada, et cetera, et cetera. While I know they control the power down there, obviously not all of it, as we find out, because the power to the hidey hole is actually coming from other silos, which is fascinating, or at least that's what I gathered. It doesn't specifically say that, but I gathered that the other silos are powering the hidey holes so that if power goes down in your silo, you do not lose it, which is why IT is always juiced up. And to extend that a little bit, still they're using that much electricity? Or is it they're using that much electricity to power the other silos' hidey holes? Is that where that electricity is going? So just an errand thought, and we'll explore that a little bit later, I'm sure, because there's some conversation about it. But the power in mechanical will be controlled by them, which is great, but they do not have control over the IT's power, which we've already discovered.
Yeah.
And I couldn't help but think when he was talking about all the things that they would have, all the advantages they would have, they don't have food.
Wait a minute. You're right to continue on this thought, but it just made me think about something. Earlier in the book, Bernard was bitching and moaning about the power holiday because he had like lower power and the servers and all that wonderful bullshit. Yet now we know the power was on 100% in IT when they went in there. So like,
well, we knew that anyway, because their lights were all on full tilt and everything. He was just being a bitch to bitch. Or so bitching like to be a bitch.
He was bitching about something that wasn't even true.
Well, not even affecting him, yeah.
That's fucked up. What an asshole.
Yeah, he's an asshat. I hate this dude.
Yeah.
So getting back to what they do have in mechanical, he mentions the power, the safety numbers, the home field advantage. What they don't have is food, for starters, which... not great. And we find out there's a problem with that later.
Yeah, not a constant supply, at least.
Yeah, so there's that. And I can't help but thinking, Jules attributes it to groundwater in the other silo, in silo 17, up to, I don't remember what level it flooded up to. I've got it written down here. But we still don't know if that was potentially intentional, if there was a flooding of the lower levels. And they lock themselves in there, and it makes me really nervous.
Yeah, like they could just get flooded on purpose, possibly. Like, we don't know what control IT has of this.
Granted, that would destroy the entire silo, but it's something that won't leave my mind until I know for sure that that's how that silo filled. That really concerns me.
I mean, the groundwater thing makes sense to me, though, because they like it actually absolutely makes sense that groundwater is going to be seeping in. But what I was wondering when, like, Jules was talking about it in her chapter, which I think is the next one. I don't know if that's when she talked about it, but where do the pumps put that water? And like, they're going up the pipes, and I realized, it might be like going out, like just like up top above the silo. But then, like, where would it go from there?
Okay, so they've got I don't know. Because water's one of those things that you can't compress it, you can't destroy it.
I guess you push it back into
Burn
the earth.
Burn it off. I guess, yeah. Pump it back into the earth at a higher elevation. I don't know. Yeah, I was wondering the same, and I just don't know where that would go, because there's really no source or no exit that wouldn't fill the bowl that the silo is sitting in.
Yeah, I don't know. Interesting.
But so getting back to the steel wall that they put up with the small rectangle. There are some yellow overalls mixed in. Some are mechanical that were disguised as supply. Some are supply, not trusting their own level, which, like I said, I wouldn't either, genuinely. I would want to be with my own people, sure, but that's too damn close to IT, where the war is happening.
Well, do we know what level supply is on? I know IT's on like 33, 34, 35.
Let me see. No, I don't. Oh, wait. No. He had gone down a dozen floors, right? Hang on. I wrote this down. He had gone down a dozen floors to 56, where he saw Shirley, which is where supply is. So it's about 20 floors below.
Okay.
So not close, but not far enough.
Yeah.
I certainly wouldn't want to be up there.
Yeah, so it's probably in like the 50s or the 60s or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's at 56, I think is what they said. Mm-hmm. On the same page, they've gotten there. They haven't even made it through this little rectangle yet, and a shot rang out. So whatever the explosion did to the staircase did not take long for them to overcome. Mm-hmm. Then they start... Oh, I thought this was really cool. The hang on just a second. I'm going to read this out. Several were on their bellies, scrambling for the tiny hole. One got his arm inside and was pulled through, sliding across the steel grating and disappearing into a dark space. You put that in any other novel, that's a horror novel. That is terrifying.
Yeah, I guess if you don't know what's pulling them in, it's definitely terrifying.
Yeah. You're just getting sucked into a black little hole. It's like, ooh, I don't like it. And then somebody gets shot, and I hate to do it, but I laughed out loud when somebody said, "I'm hit." Like, oh yeah, you get shot. Like, is that what you say? Like,
somebody yelled, "I'm hit." Really?
Yes, clutching their shoulder and screaming, "I'm hit." Oh, the throng dispersed. I just it's funny to me. I know, you know, you may say that in the moment, but it feels very cartoonish.
Yeah. I mean, I really like what went through Marc's head when he was hit, though. I like how how he's talking about how another roar, another punch to the back, the feeling that he'd been bit and kicked at the same time. And then he thinks, this is what it feels like to be shot.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's kind of what it would be like. You know, it's like, oh, this is what it feels like to be shot. Okay. As you're like lying there dying.
Yeah. So right after that moment, Marc decides he's going to go be a hero, which we all expected. Damn it, Marc. but he does get one of Sim's crew. He does shoot one of Sim's crew, which I got to say, hell of a shot coming from below. That is, you know,
especially with a gun that's harder to aim.
Obi-Wan might have been a little overzealous when he said he cannot win because I have the high ground, but the high ground is a good advantage.
I think about having the high ground, not necessarily that scene in Star Wars, but like I think about having the high ground being the advantage every time I'm in Fortnite and I'm like in a building shooting down at somebody.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, the high ground is what you want, but it cracks me up. Very much aside, but that scene, like they have been bouncing, you know, 15-foot jumps here and there all over the map. And because you're on a 4-foot incline, you think that's it. You can't win after that. Like, I got you. Yeah. Silliest thing ever. Going back to Wool. So this is the part where he gets shot. I thought it was really, really interesting. There was a bang, a muffled roar behind him, and somehow someone had caught up, punched him in the back, and had hit him. That was his first thought. And then it goes to what you said. And when it first said that, it's like, oh, damn, somebody did catch up. And then I realized, oh, no. Somebody did not catch up.
A bullet caught up. So really quick, before we get to here, I was like, when they were talking about how the guns of the two people he shot, like, fell, I was like, well, why didn't he grab one of those guns and, like, use it instead? But I guess he said it went through the steps of the raptors or whatever. Yeah, so it probably fell out of his grasp. But I was just like, come on, man, grab one of their guns and fight back and not use your stupid need to reload every shot.
Yeah, not use your
aim very well gun.
Grab a rat-a-tat-tat.
Yeah, exactly. Grab that rat-a-tat-tat.
But yeah, this last page of this chapter was really difficult to read. I like Marc as a character and going through his head, and he's just slowly realizing that he's dying, and it's very, very difficult to read.
I like that he was so comfortable on the floor, and then later Shirley was screaming, not as happy as he was to be lying there. So it really shows how, like, in this moment, he's just like, his body is going, all right, this is it. I'm just going to fall asleep here and be done.
Yeah, it's a lot like Jan's when she was dying. There were some parallels there. It's like, why is he so upset? Why is he crying?
Absolutely. I hadn't thought about that. I love it.
Both of those very, very difficult to read. Ugh. This Hugh Howey, man, the guy knows how to break a heart.
Does that mean we're losing Shirley next?
I'm afraid.
We lost Jan's, and then we lost Marn's.
Yeah.
Now Marc. I hope not.
I mean, yeah, he's just been introducing characters simply to off them.
Has there been anybody he introduced that he hasn't offed yet? I mean, obviously
he
lots, but like
tried really hard to off Jules, and she's just too damn resilient.
Right. Also, as we're gonna see soon, it seemed like I was so worried Walk was gonna die. I was like,
dude,
no,
same.
not Walk too. Please, no.
Not my Walk. Although he's not doing so hot.
No, he's not.
And we'll get to that in a second because, yeah, he's hallucinating. He's not eating. He is. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's long for this world either way. Yeah. Sadly,
I mean, but the hallucinations. I'm trying to decide if we should wait or if I should bring it up now. But like the hallucinations, I think are guilt more than anything else. I mean, the not eating is probably also guilt and everything, right? So like he's really like just in this horrible headspace, and like the hallucination, I gotta say, when I was reading it, I saw him reference Scotty, and I was like, oh, this must be a flashback.
Yeah, I wrote that down. Then, like, a Scotty flashback.
And then I noticed that I'm like, but wait a minute, the context here doesn't feel like it would be a flashback. Like he's trying to get the radio to work and stuff. And then I noticed that Scotty's words were in italics, and I'm like,
all italicized, yeah.
Scotty's not there. Scotty's dead.
Scotty doesn't know. I'm glad you got that.
No, anyway. I didn't. I know that I know that phrase, but I couldn't tell you what it's from.
It's from Eurotrip. It's a stupid movie, but
I've seen it.
The main song, the main character's name is Scotty, and his girlfriend right after high school is dating somebody. We find out this somebody is the lead singer of a band and Matt Damon, and their biggest song is called Scotty Doesn't Know, and it's about them cheating on Scotty behind his back. And Scotty's just standing there in the crowd's like, well, this sucks. And then side
note, go ahead.
Later on in that movie, there's a version of that song in a different language when they're in Europe, which I thought was fucking hilarious.
Side note, I think about like real life songs are obviously written about people in the artists' lives all the time. And I think about it all the time, what it must be like to be the guy who dated the girl who wrote all the breakup songs about how much of an asshole you are. And to know that as she gets like famous and like is like a rock star or whatever. And you're like, yep, those songs are about me. Yep. Every time you hear it on the radio, you're like, God damn it.
That's not how it happened.
Yeah, right? You probably hold on to so much like bitterness about it.
Oh, how could you not? Imagine being Taylor Swift's ex. Right? Guaranteed, those songs are about you. At least some of them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was Amanda Palmer actually talked about this at the last show that I went to with Dresden Dolls. She's like, I wrote a lot of breakup songs and they're pretty much all about the same guy. She's like, but I'm friends with him now. I'm like, oh, that's good. Yeah. But like, it still doesn't change the fact that like when he hears those songs, he knows that they're about him.
Yeah.
Like, anyway.
That's hilarious. Rolling on to chapter 55. 3 weeks later. Are you kidding me? We do a 3-week time jump right now?
I mean, do we really need to know the specifics of the skirmishes and stuff?
I'd like to know what happened in Supply, for starters.
Okay. Like, what do you need to know? Like, what? Well, like, because for me, like, when they got to that 3-week jump, to me, it was like, okay, cool. I kind of feel like everything was, like, we blew up, at like, literally and figuratively, everything, and now like shit's hitting the fan, and we know the fates of certain characters. We know they're walled behind their steel door, and like I think like all of that, the minutia at this point is just gonna be boring. It's gonna be like the waiting game, the here's a little thing here, here's a little thing here. I liked the 3-week jump because then we get to the like, okay, here's the outcome of what happened. Like it takes some time for all of these events that just unfolded to have an impact. And so here's kind of like what happens after that initial impact. Here's kind of like we're picking up in the middle of these skirmishes, picking up in the middle of the fallout from that. And we get to kind of see what's going on and pick up, and like, I also really enjoy trying to understand the details of what's happened. Like when Walk is talking about, is this a Walk chapter? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
So like when he is starting to like, talk about being like there's another bang and stuff like that, and like, oh, here's the rat-a-tat that you were talking about. You know, the familiar pattern of gunfire came next. The pop, pop, pop of the good guys, followed by the rat-a-tat-tat of the bad. And like just knowing that like these things keep happening 3 weeks later tells us pretty much everything we need to know, that like this is just been a continued thing.
Yeah, I suppose what I want to know is what happened to supply. Like, what happened to the people that actually stayed in supply? Because that feels like there's missing information there. We may find out what happened at some point. I'm sure we probably will.
Like Sims came down and killed people with his crew. Like, did they stop in supply? You know, what about on the way back up? That's what I'm wondering.
Like,
I get that.
What happened? Are they occupying supply? Like, did they figure out who was involved, who wasn't, or was it just all? I'm curious about what happened there. I think that's my only real complaint with the 3-week jump. But that being said, like you said, here's where the rat-a-tat-tat and pop-pop come in. And I thought it was really interesting that it was compared twice to music, which this is the first mention of music we've had. And I would assume that music is in the same camp as books. It's creative. It's talking about real things. This is the first mention of music we've had, and I was kind of curious to know whether or not there was any kind of music in the silo to begin with.
Where'd you see music reference? What do you? I see.
The first one,
constant beat to the music of the New World.
Yeah, and then there's another one at 2 or 3 pages later.
I mean, for me, that sentence is very much a. I can't remember the right word for it. You know, it's been a long time since I took English class. You know, it's this simile or the metaphor, whichever one is right for. It's that, I don't even know if either of those are the word I'm looking for, but like that.
I know what you're saying though.
The way it kind of evokes feeling, like you're using music not as a literal for music, obviously, but for like, you know, the concept of it. And obviously that suggests that music exists in their world, because how could it not? How could you like not hum a song, even if you like, I fucking make up songs just while I'm talking to my kids with no real melody or anything behind them. And, you know, I think I know you haven't watched it enough to know, but like, I think like Linda on Bob's Burgers, how she's just always singing the things she says. And that's how I feel. That's how I am. And like, I love music, and it's part of who I am, my soul. Like music is such a big deal to me. It's why I'm like traveling, you know, multiple states away this weekend to go see my favorite band perform, because it's important to me.
Yeah.
But even if music was banned in a sense, I feel like music is just part of our brain, you know, like we feel it. It's our soul. I think you couldn't get away from it. Like you're gonna tap on the table, you know, bump, 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 and you're just gonna hear that rhythm and so like I don't know, maybe, but that's a good question though. Like what would like written songs be in this world? Like, you know, protest songs are a thing, right? So would they make sure none of that shit ever, you know, surfaced? And how could they? I don't know. It's definitely an interesting thought.
Music is one of those unifying things, which is what makes me think it would be banned. That's my only base to stand on, and it's the first time we've heard of it. So it was a curiosity that struck me. Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting thought.
Also in this paragraph, though, we have an answer to the gunpowder thing. It says the incredible bang, the roar of the blasting powder against steel. So they would have to have blasting powder for the mining. Yeah, so like that's something they would have access to.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Actually, come to think of it, Knox may have mentioned that in the Trek Upward, the blasting powder. Okay. All right,
probably
easy to
bringing it or something. I forgot.
Yeah, something like that.
Next paragraph, before we get too far, I also really appreciated the way they kind of set up Walk for where he is in his head when like the paragraph starts with like the boots in the hallway carried them, more shouting. Walker curled up into a tight ball, knees against his chest, wondering what time it was, dreading that it was morning, time to get up. I have felt that myself much. Like you wake up and you're just like, oh God, I don't want to get up. I don't want to wake up. Why is it morning? I don't want it to be morning yet. Please,
I don't want to look at the clock.
Be like, yeah.
The best is when you roll over and it's like 2 a.m. It's like, yes.
I mean, yes and no, because it's like, oh, it's 2 a.m. I don't have to get up yet. That's good. But also like, God damn it, why am I up at 2 a.m.?
Right. Well, and that feeds into what I was going to bring up. He says his impatience for sleep often frightened the very sleep away. That is the fucking worst.
Yeah.
When you have something to do tomorrow and you're laying in bed and you look at the clock, it's like, if I go to sleep right this moment, I will get 6 hours and 37 minutes. And then that just continues and continues. And it is like a surefire way to stay awake.
Yeah.
Basically. So frustrating.
I don't have enough time to get enough sleep. Anxiety keeps you from getting enough sleep.
It's the worst. Yeah. Then we find out Shirley is still delivering him breakfast, sometimes forcefully, because we find out that Knox has been giving his rations away, whether that's out of guilt or just his mental state, not wanting to eat, which I know depression can certainly cause. We don't know, but yeah, she's basically forcing him to eat.
Yeah.
And we also meet Jenkins, who is, quote unquote, the new Knox. And he's a little more abrasive.
Oh, shit. I didn't even think about the fact that they needed a new Knox because, like, Marc was supposed to be the new Knox.
Yup.
Damn.
Yeah, right. But we find out that the Walker is fiddling with a radio. And my first note here is, oh my God, he's going to talk to Jules. That's exciting.
Yeah.
He's going to figure out how to get onto the channel that Jules is on, plugging in 17. That's not what happened yet, at least. Right. But we found out that Hank, which I believe was the mid-section deputy or maybe the lower section deputy, right? Yeah. Okay. He had risked his life to get his hands on a radio. We also find out that Pieter is dead, who was the refinery guy.
I noticed you said Pieter, which is probably correct. Earlier, when we talked about the names, I think we both called him Peter. And because that's how I would have read
Billings.
It. But then we got Peter Billings that's spelled like the conventional Peter.
Yeah, quote unquote properly.
And when I read that, I actually thought back to our conversation previously about how the names are slightly differently spelled, and I'm like, wait a minute, that means that's a different name. It's got to be a different name. I still don't know how to pronounce it. Peter, sure.
Pieter.
Pieter.
No, it's a French.
I don't know.
It's French. Pieter.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. I'll trust you. I don't know how to speak French.
Fair enough. I'm 57 days on Duolingo.
Ooh, exciting. I'm 57 minutes from Montreal. I mean, not really. It's an hour and a half. But like, so like I should be able to go speak French, but I don't. I get to Montreal.
Yeah, but they all speak English anyway.
Most of them do. Yeah. I get there and I always feel like an asshole. And like whenever somebody starts talking to me in French, I'm like, do you speak English? And they're like, try
visiting France, dude. Oh man. So he is fiddling with the radio. Where does he find there's a little label on there that says 18.
Was that in this chapter? I thought it was in the next one.
No, it might have been later. Oh yeah. Jenkins is giving him a hard time.
Yeah, here he's just talking about how, like, you know, he thinks they're still using radios. They've just somehow excluded this one. We all know that means they just changed channels, but like, as we find out in the next walk chapter, the channels are hard coded with the board. So like, how would they have changed channels easily? They would have had to like take them apart. And so it suggested to me that like Bernard maybe knew that a radio got lost or taken. And so to cover that up, Bernard switched all the radios to a different channel. But like, how would Bernard have done that if the radios are hard coded to a specific channel without tinkering with them? Maybe like there's a way to like, you know, just like reset it to a different channel by putting on a base or something like that.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, Walk realizes what he wants is a stronger antenna. We also find out that a priest was sent in to give last rites. And they think that they possibly could be a spy. Because apparently shit's been falling apart since they let him in to give last rites.
I have a feeling shit was falling apart before that, or it was coincidental, but hey, maybe.
Yeah. Seems like it would have been. So yeah, we also find out that nothing about radios is known outside of IT, of course, which does make sense because you wouldn't want people fiddling with the radios and eventually accidentally stumbling across another frequency, which ultimately does occur.
I like that Walk talks about how he is figuring it all out. Like, he's like, I know what most of these do, but you got to remember that nothing about these devices is known, not outside of IT anyway. I'm having to theorize while I tinker. And honestly, I related so hard to that line. I'm having to theorize while I tinker. Like, I get that. Like when I'm trying to figure out how something works, I'm constantly like tinkering and theorizing and tinkering and I have a sliding closet door that was built in the 70s. Like it's 70s technology over here. And it's really a simple mechanism, but the doors weren't sliding very well. And I had to figure out how to get them to slide. And my instinct from looking at the mechanism was to like loosen screw number 1. And that wasn't working. Tighten screw number, like I was just messing with that. And I couldn't quite figure it out until I realized that screw number 2, that seemed like it had nothing to do with this mechanism, was what I needed to loosen to get it to slide. And it was just like the tinkering. I just took this entire thing apart and like was looking it over and trying to figure out how it worked. And like, okay, well, is that what that's doing, and how does this work? And I loved it, and it was so much fun, even though it was like just stupid little like 1970s piece of hardware. I really enjoyed that tinkering and figuring out how it worked so I could fix the closet door, and now they slide beautifully. I'm so happy with them.
See, and that's so rewarding.
It is so rewarding when like you figure it out because you're tinkering enough that you understand it, and once you understand it, you can fix it correctly. I love that. I love the understanding is the thing that gets me, that I love doing, trying to understand how something works, how things work together. It's a lot of fun. And so, like I said, I really related to that line of I'm having to theorize while I tinker. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, good stuff. So let's see now. Okay, so we're closing up this chapter, and Walk is really having some issues mentally. He's thinking about how this all started because he kicked it off one little note. And he's saying that it wasn't worth it, which I disagree. I mean, I know a lot of people have died and a lot of things have happened and it sucks and nobody wants that. But, you know, sometimes revolution is necessary. Sometimes you have to, you know, it has to happen. It's terrible. I hate it.
I agree. But I think I've talked about this before on this podcast. I'm not a fan of violence in general. Like I don't like the idea of fighting physically. I don't like the idea of war or guns. Like these things make me uncomfortable in real life. In TV, books, and movies, I love it. But like when it comes to real life, it's something that makes me uncomfortable. People who like love their guns, they make me uncomfortable. But at the same time, while I think that like there's always a way to not have to go to war and people just jump to the stupid conclusion that war is necessary. Yeah. I think that sometimes violence is unfortunately required because of the position that people are in. And like no amount of talking is going to change our current US political climate. Like we've tried. We've tried to talk.
Sadly, no.
And I mean, at the time of this recording, we just found out that the government shutdown is off now. The Democrats caved, and I'm so fucking pissed. And like they took the promise of a vote later on, but like that bullshit. That's bullshit. Like that's not going to change things. Like that they're just going to vote it down and nothing's going to change. And people like think, oh, it's not working. Well, you know, you've got to fucking try. You've got to stick it out until like they cave instead of you caving. And
well, the problem is that they care about the people and how it affects them.
Of course.
That's the issue, is that the other side doesn't. That is the problem at the end of the day.
Yeah. And but my point that I was trying to get to is like when you have people, like you said, that don't really care about the people, who aren't going to cave, who talking isn't going to change anything. Sometimes violence is the only thing that's going to get through, is to remove these people from power forcibly. Now, we don't necessarily have to do it with blood, but like sometimes it just has to be. And so I agree with you when it comes to this book and Walker's action of his one little note to Supply. Like, was it worth it? Yes. I think so. 100%. Because it means that they're going to get the truth. They're going to figure out what's going on. They're going to be able to have control over their own destiny.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. As tragic as it is, there's a point where push does come to shove. But But moving on, chapter 56. We are going to Silo 17.
I can say right before we go to the next chapter, I just want to say that in the end of this as well, that we didn't really kind of touch on too much, I really enjoyed how they set up Walker fantasizing, hallucinating, whatever, about Scotty. How he's like, he needed help, and then he ended up, his thoughts turned to Scotty. And I like, it really sets up how like that mental decline is, and as he's going crazy, worried about how crazy with guilt, I should say, not worried, but like, you know, feeling so guilty, and how that will lead to him just kind of having that mental break.
Yeah, it's a great setup. And had it been back to back with that other chapter, when he's hallucinating or imagining or whatever we're calling it, it might have been really obvious right out the gate.
Yeah.
But the fact that there was a Jules chapter stuck in between, you're like, oh, cool, flashback. And then, oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but speaking of the Jules chapter, we are on Silo 17. And as expected, she has decided she's going to go fix the water pumps. And she has fixed one. And it's been 3 weeks, and they have exposed one step.
And she is not happy.
No, she's so. This is also where we find out that the electricity of the hidey hole is coming from other silos, or at least it insinuates as much. She's got glow lights back up and running, and we find out that 136 is the last dry floor, which is 3 above where the blockade is currently in 18.
Wait, say that last part again.
The 136 is the last dry floor in Silo 17,
okay.
Which is 3 above where the last where the barricade is in Silo 18.
Oh, yeah.
Has nothing to do with each other, but it's an interesting comparison. Give you an idea where she is.
Yeah, exactly. Gives you an idea about how high up that water is. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and on page 387, she specifically says a cloud visible from the cold of the down deep. So we have confirmation that it is colder in the down deep, right? We had talked about temperature differences from the top to the bottom.
That would be true. But when you have the machines running, it probably doesn't feel like it.
Oh, see, that's a good point too.
Yeah, like the generator or whatever you call it is going to make things hot. It's going to make it a lot hotter down there.
No, that's a good call. I hadn't thought about that.
When they're not running, it's going to be fucking freezing, because like further you go into the earth, the colder it's going to be.
Yeah, and she's talking about, while she's looking down at where the pumps are, she's, is this where she's going to put on the suit?
I think it's the next one.
No. So she's beneath this coat of slime. So she's looking at the water, and there's a coat of slime on top of it, as you'd expect. Beneath this coat of slime, the emergency lights of the stairwell glowed an eerily green, lending the depths a haunting look and matched the rest of the empty silo. Ugh.
Yeah,
that's creepy.
Green
I don't like that
lights
at all.
And water. Oh man, that is definitely creepy and scary.
There's a phobia. I don't remember exactly what it's called, and I'm sure somebody can tell us, but it's machinery or large things underwater, things that are not supposed to be underwater being underwater. And I think I've got a bit of it, because seeing lights or structures or even trees underwater is creepy. It's unnerving. I went paddleboarding in Fallen Leaf Lake a couple of years ago, and the lake was a lot higher than it usually was. And I was paddleboarding good 50, 60 feet off the coast, and noticed beneath me there was this giant tree, the top of a tree.
A top of a tree.
Oh, it was creepy. I couldn't not look at it. I couldn't not come back to it to show people. It's like, it's so cool, but creepy.
Submechanophobia.
Submechanophobia. That's exactly it. Yeah.
Fear of man-made objects submerged underwater.
Yes.
Like sunken ships, submerged planes, underwater structures, downed machinery. Yep. Yeah. And I see like a tree that shouldn't be underwater. I can see how that totally fits in with that, even though it's related. Technically, it's like a tree's not supposed to be.
Yeah, it shouldn't be standing up right there.
Yeah.
And that was the creepy part of it. Like laying on its side, I've seen trees laying on their side at the bottom of the lake, sure. But if it's still standing, it's like, that shouldn't be like that. It's weird.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to point out on this page, it looks like our calculations were actually pretty close. We do have a depth, but she says the volume of 8 levels was difficult to calculate, 80 or 90 feet to go. So that leads credence to our 10 to 14 foot per level, even with the generator.
Yeah.
So kind of interesting. Number one, our calculations were close, but number two, she's also reached 10,000 feet or something like that in the mines.
I don't remember the specifics, but yeah.
So it seems like there's a lot of variance. It seems like the silo is similar depth to what we had expected, like half mile, but the mines go a heck of a lot deeper, is what I'm gathering.
Yeah. I wonder if Hugh has like mapped it out in his head of how far down everything is. So when he goes to reference it in the text, he can just be like, oh yeah, blank that I have in my notes. Or if it's like he's making it up as he goes and then tries to like retcon it later to make it make sense.
I mean, if that's the case, we're going to find it going through like this. But I was curious because moving on to the next page, I did want to point out first before I get to my question here. She says that she thinks she's going crazy because she puts things places and they move or things disappear or whatever the case may be. And she thinks either I'm going crazy or Solo thinks it's funny to make me think I'm going crazy. I thought that was really funny.
Yeah. And what I noted there was, or a third option.
Yeah. See, and that's she right out the gate. When she got to this silo, she had mentioned how someone could live there without ever being found if they wanted to, which that was also my thoughts. Like, ooh.
When Solo was first talking about things not being where he left them, like she easily wrote it off as him being crazy. But like my thought was, are we so sure he's alone? Because we keep learning about people who continued to live in there after everything died.
I don't think he's alone.
And so Solo's just assumed they've all died, but have they?
I don't think so.
They're just like good at hiding, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, right.
Like if that's true, he's hinting at it pretty heavily, and we're gonna like learn about it. If it's not true, he's just setting up like, you know, the craziness aspect of this really well.
Yeah. So there's mention here of 2 years, how long it would take. And I don't remember when she came into the silo whether or not the screen was on up top, for starters.
No, it definitely wasn't because it was dark.
That's what I thought. Okay. So we also find out that Lucas has lost all track of time in his hidey hole. That leads me to the question of how in the hell do they keep track of time in Silo 17?
Ooh. Didn't they touch on that when she first met Solo?
Did they?
Like talking about like how he kept track of how long it had been?
Not that I'm recalling.
He was saying something like, you know, he tried to get through each day one at a time, and eventually, you know, all the days added up to years, months and years and stuff like that. I thought maybe he had talked about how he kept track. I don't remember specifically, if so.
Yeah. So that was just, it occurred to me when he said 2 years, like, well, that's no time. Sure. But how do you track it?
Yeah.
So here's where she says about the digger. So a machine.
I do.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to say what you said about him saying, oh, that's no time. Like, I really enjoyed that. I love Solo so much. I love his like youthful optimism, despite being this like 50-something-year-old man that has lived alone.
Yeah, he's a teenage in a man's body. It's great.
Although I'm more and more convinced he's just ADHD.
I mean, I think a little bit of column A, column B.
Yeah, I think he is like ADHD to start with, and then going crazy living by himself on top of that. Not having like the social construct to help him mature and develop on top of that.
Sure.
So like we with our ADHD have a slower developing executive function. And so he has had a ADHD related slow executive function development, and then like no real reason to develop his executive function over the time of his life because he hasn't been interacting with people. So it's like doubled.
Right. Yeah. I think it's a column A, column B. Definitely. He's got a little bit of something. And no judgment because, you know, so do I.
Yeah, same.
And that's where we will cut it. Make sure you come back for the rest of the discussion about chapters 53 through 63 next episode. Until then, take care. Thank you so much for spending your time with us between the covers of today's story. If you'd like to help keep Shelf Indulgence alive and growing, you'll find our Patreon link in the description. Your support helps write the next chapter. A rating or review wherever you listen also helps other readers discover us, and means more to me than you know. Most of all, thank you so much for being a part of this journey. I truly hope you'll keep turning the pages with us. Book by book, story by story. We'll see you next time.